Hey, shalom, family. At this time, may the peace of Yah be with each and every one of you and to all the viewers as well. This is Yah, Yaziqua, Caleb, Israel, Yah at this time, brothers and sisters at this time, and to all the nation who watching as well. I'm doing this very important video to show you this document concerning the slaves and the history from 1619 to 1865. This is a very important document I have at this time to show the estimation that this Mitford Historical Society from Mitford, Massachusetts, accumulated, brothers and sisters, in a part of their estimate of the slave labor, brothers and sisters, and the hours that the slave worked. Brothers and sisters, so we're going to get into it right now, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to read this document to you. I'm going to try to bring it so you can see it closer. Because this is a very important document right here, brothers and sisters, to show you the slaves in New England, what took place. Give you some information, share this information with you. It's very important, brothers and sisters. So let's get into it. Right here, it's right here, the first American immigrants to the North American colonies arrived in Virginia in 1619. It said the status of these newcomers differ little from that of the white indentured servants who outnumbered them by the end of the century. However, the black population had grown and colonies, the colonial laws recognized a new sort of bondage that was based upon race, chattel slavery. So keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. So go down a little further, it reads, it says slaves were brought into New England throughout the entire colonial period. And so they had the colonial laws as well. So let me keep reading. It says, and slavery existed throughout the colonies. You get that, brothers and sisters? It said before the American Revolution, the majority of the slaves spent at least part of their lives enslaved and were often brought as children in coastal cities. They counted for as much. I'm reading this from my monitor as I scan across the document. That's why I'm reading so slow. As much as 30% of the population in the South Kingston, Rhode Island, and were a significant presence in Boston, 10%, New London, 9%, and New York, 7.2%, brothers and sisters. I'm saving the most important part for last. The acceptance of slavery. It's a few, if any, colonialists challenge the prevailing belief system regarding slavery and indentured servitude. It's a relative low number of people living in slavery in New England colonies was not due to anti-slavery sentiments. It's a rather economics, social, and geographic conditions. So keep that in mind. It's a resulted in a distinctly New England pattern of slavery. A number of blacks in New England, as in the other colonies, held the status of freemen. Freedom was gained in many ways. Never forget this history, brothers and sisters. In some cases, the slaves won their freedom by entering into formal contracts with their master. You see that? Master. To serve them. This is talking about you, so-called black man today, African American man that love America. Let me go this part again. They entered into formal contracts with their masters. You see that? Showing as long as you're American, the white people, Europeans, in their mind, they look at you as they servant, and they is your masters. See how they got right there? Masters. To serve them for a period of years in return for their freedom. Even the so-called freedom they have, but our God said we still in captivity until we obey Him and leave the United States of America. They still classify as your masters in their minds. These are the facts, brother. Don't care how you look at it. Our people had entered into contracts with these people for freedom. It says some slaves were manumitted for faithful service, others through the wills of the owner. You get that, brothers and sisters. Said right here, a little bit more. Said the free blacks of New England, however, occupied an intermediate and inferior status. See, a middle status, somewhat between that of white person and indentured servitude. See? And that's the way they still look at you today, brothers and sisters. This inferior status. Legally, there, and that never changed. Conditions did not differ much from that of slaves, and they were usually included in the slave codes with Indians and black slaves. See, this was the so-called free slaves. You still was part of a slave code. See, a lot of people don't know this. The high-minded ones, the lofty ones, because they riding around in the Benz, a Mercedes-Benz, with a white man's suit on, with a tie. It's a shame of you people. But I know y'all do it in English, so I'm not going to beat you down. But it's ignorance if you know this knowledge and love your own creator and you love your own culture. It's a shame of you for keep putting on a white man tie and a suit and walking around proud, but many of our people do out of ignorance. And say, okay, the northern slaves economy. This is the northerners. It said for nearly 200 years, the North maintained slaves. A regime that was more varied than that of the South, rather than using slaves as primarily agriculture labor. The North trained and diversified its slaves force to meet the needs of its more complex economy owned mostly by ministers. You get that? Ministers. The preachers you love, brothers and sisters. Owned mostly by ministers, doctors, the merchants, elite, enslaved men and women in the North often perform household duties in addition to skilled jobs. See, brothers and sisters, regardless of what status you hold, social status you hold in America, they still your master. You still are in between it, brother and sister. Yes, under these slave codes. Let's look at right here, say right here. Slave codes with Indians and black slaves, the so-called freedmen, and one thing you so-called, you still listed under a slave code, brothers and sisters. This information comes from, I'm not finished yet, Milford Historical Society, Milford, Massachusetts, our brothers and sisters. So the meat of the matter, the heart of the issue, right here. Let's get into it right here. It has been estimated that Africans and African American slaves. Did anybody catch that right there, brothers and sisters? I know that Hebrew brothers caught this and sisters that got their eyes open. Let's look at that again. It has been estimated that Africans and African American slaves. Why did they say that like that? And some people may think, okay, they call them African American. Some was born in America, but they Africans. And then they brought some over here that wasn't born in America, but they Africans. Why did they make a distinction right here? African and African Americans. It made me think about the distinction was Hebrew people is not Africans. They called it African, but they tagged you so they got identified and give you the distinction so they can know, because these are the Hebrew ones. These are the ones okay of the Hamite sect, but these are the legitimate Hebrew people. These are the facts, brothers and sisters. That's why they called us African American, Negroes, colored, and black. They nationalized us to go out their way to hide our true identity. But now people waking up knowing anything. Let's finish this on. Right here. It has been estimated that American and African American slaves performed 222,505,049 hours of labor between 1619 and in 1865, in what became the United States, 246 years. This is just an estimate of the hours performed of free labor, brothers and sisters. 222,505,049 hours between that time period, brothers and sisters, of enslavement. Think about this. Do a number on this, anybody. And the modern day cost of living wages. If you just say $10 an hour, that's not even really truly livable wages. But we say this for one individual can live off $10 an hour. Calculate $10 an hour times 222,505,049 hours. This is their estimate. The number prices supersede that by so much as it ain't funny, brothers and sisters. And this is the account that they gave from Milford. This is a document, brothers and sisters. These people did some research on these things. They probably off about a whole rate, another 20 million or better, or less. But that's a lot of hours our people perform, brothers and sisters, for free. That proves to you all this hour, all of this labor, all this work. That's why these people became filthy rich. Build their houses, slave houses. Some of these houses still stand today, brothers and sisters. See right here, they said this house right here is a slave house. I believe to the right here is the quarters of the slaves. Over here, I believe this is the same house. This just made up more improvement of the house. And they call this one right here the royal house. Let's read a little information. Let's see right here. Updated photograph of the royal house and the slave quarters, brothers and sisters. You see this, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave you with this to think about, brothers and sisters. Look at that. Look at that. Can you imagine the pain? These people work so hard, brothers and sisters. They had to work from sun up to sundown. No day off till they start. Some of them start accepting Christianity. Get some time off on Sunday to go to church to serve their master. To bow down before a white made up Jesus. Now our people still carry this Jesus on their wall, bro. So indoctrinated in this country. And the ones that claim to wake up have no desire to leave. They post all kinds of foolishness on the internet. Take nothing for serious. Everything is a joke and game and play. And these people still got you in between an Indian slave and a black slave, but you're still a Hebrew slave, captive in America. Y'all open the door for your freedom, but nobody wants it. Everybody wants to stay here and serve their master. The one who oppressed you, the one dogged you out, the one that set up all kind of whorehouses to rape your ancestors. That's why a lot of our people today change the pigment of your color. Yes, I know my grandmother been raped, or either she been raped or she got influenced to be with one of these white guys. Yes, that's part of my family line that I know about. These are the facts of life, brothers and sisters. A lot of stuff went on in the United States of America. So look at that number. Just let that sink in your mind, brothers and sisters. This is for real. People doing research on these things, and our own people, I hear it out of our own people's mouth, don't even believe it. They so caught up in American ways, they don't believe that we've been brought here by slaves, and they're still treating us the same way. They see, that's what the RBI know, he's going to destroy some people. Because they see grow up. Look, this occurred from 1619. We still got European people still look at you as a slave, and still in their mind think they is your master. Technically, they still is, matter of fact, until you leave this country. Until you obey Yah and rise up, these people will always be your master. Your master. Because you're scared to obey your true master, who is Abba Yah, Hebrew people. Abba Yah got laws. He tell me, when people claim they got the spirit, but don't know what the spirit telling them to do. You don't got the spirit of Yah. You're disobedient. Spirit of Yah say, when he give you this ruach, it's purpose for you to rise up and make your exodus out of the United States, out of captivity. Then you will be free. You'll be free from the one that enslaved you. But long as you're still in a country not your own, you're still enslaved. By the way, remember, the Hebrew people weren't free from Pharaoh in Egypt until they left Egypt. Then the Pharaoh didn't want to let them go. He tried to go and catch them off guard and bring them back. Think about that, brothers and sisters. You're never free from a situation until you're free. I'm talking to you. I'm extending this video this long to show you, brothers, to tell you. Because what you feel in your mind and think, because you got a pocket full of money, you got a house, cars, you got all of that, but you're still under your master. Because they still got slave codes over you. These are the facts, brothers. One thing they give you is privileges. The contracts on jobs, to do labor work, to build their kingdom up. And where they could keep slapping you around and use you and pimp you to keep their industry flourishing. That's the fact, brothers and sisters. Examine these things. Look at this. Look at the hours of time of labor, free labor. And we didn't get a dime in his back. And then people got a nerve to talk about people getting food stamps and all the EBT. You should never talk about your own people getting these things, calling them lazy. Look at all of them. Look at the hours your ancestors done, and you calling your people today lazy. In a way, they got a right to relax. Look at them hours. They built this country. And then the majority of the people didn't get a plot of land or nothing. Only very few people inherit stuff from their slave master. These are the facts. And so you're content because you inherit some land. And so that's how some of my people are. They inherit some land on my father's side, and they so laid back, not one of them trying to rebut this system. And now I'm talking about going home. They're so content because they got a piece of land, and so they think this is all it is. They forget we came here as slaves, our ancestors, and performed this work. Brothers, look at them hours. Thank God for y'all, he waking something up to the facts and reality. I'm only standing there to show you this, to let you read this, let you think about these things, brothers and sisters. And how these people look at you. They put you in between an Indian slave and a slave in a black slave, but you're in between, you're still under the slave code. See the deception there? So people you look at your status, but they will never make you equal to a white man. These are facts. You will never be equal to a white man or above the white man as long as you live with the white man and follow their law system. You will never be, because it's their law system. How can you be equal to a white man? You think because you're wearing a suit of a white man, you cut all the face off, all the hair off your face, brothers and sisters? You're equal to a white man because you can go in they let you in some of their rooms, into their meetings, to kill your own people, to turn against your own people. This is what you do, brothers and sisters. You forget the facts. They got slave codes on you. They let you be a judge. They let you be a lawyer, so you think it's something. But you'll never be nothing in the real Hebrew minds. And definitely in the Creator. Because you turn against your own people for some privileges they give it to you. See, they give you the privileges, and then they show you they can take it from you anytime they want to. When they want to send out a message to our people, what they do, they go and take down somebody they gave an office to. Kill them, incarcerate them, because they're all crooks. And our people is crooks as well, so they can take you down anytime they want to. But you go out with all your heart and your mind to help these people. Because you got a car, you don't want to lose your car, your privileges. You're scared to leave the country because you think they're going to kill you. Our people don't want to unite. I hear people on YouTube, Facebook talking about they want to unite, but then they're going to make these filthy garbage videos. You don't want to unite really. You want to play your games, play with your Atari's games, watch the football fly in the air, the basketball fly in the air. You want to talk about men all day long, boxing and fighting. But the real deal, you don't want to touch. The real thing, the Father said, when I give you this Ruach spirit, it's for you to rise up and go back to your own land. But you love this land too much, like our ancestors before loved Egypt. Constantly want to return to Egypt. Our people constantly don't want to leave America. You'll pick up the scriptures, you'll go and quote and debate people all day long about the name of the Creator, about the Sabbath, about the feast days. But you still want to remain in America, United States, and be a slave. When our people formed over 2 million, this is just an estimate, 222,505,049 hours of labor between a 246-year time period and counting. Our people put in work for the country and get a dime. From day to night, through all the, when you look at them numbers, you think about all the beatings they got, the slashed fingers they got, the legs got cut off, all the rapes went on, locked in dungeons, the tie downs, the whorehouses for the white men to go in and impregnate Hebrew women and bring forth all these mixtures, brothers and sisters, that we have in the United States now. People's minds are so confused, so mixed up. They don't know what to do but hate. Think about this, brother. That's why I prolong this to show you the pain, the suffering of our people. And our people want to forget. Our people don't want to leave this country. And I hear people all on the internet talking about our ancestors built this. I don't care if a flip. This is not our. Y'all said we got to go back to our own land. We came here to be punished. And we got our punishment. Now we got the knowledge of what we must do. Some, not all, because those who still talking about stay here, you don't have knowledge at all. You've been indoctrinated by the United States of America, and you look at your own people funny. I already know that. I see it on the street. I see me and my family going up to the library. We got Browns people looking back at us because my children don't go to these public schools. And it's like, dang, don't they put me in school? From our own people, funny looks. Because I don't want to train my children in this American society because I want out of here. I'm going to get out of here. Because so many of our people hate this. So many of our people love the American way when they brought you here and dogged you. Every kind of way I can imagine and can't imagine. To the day I heard a woman went home, she got off a 12-hour shift from the hospital, went to go get something to eat at a Mexican restaurant. Some white man came out, started making fun at her, picking with her. Then he said, you came through a white person neighborhood, this all white neighborhood. He said, and told her, the next time you come through here, I'm gonna rape you and hang you on a tree. And the lady ran, then the man chased behind her and couldn't catch him. The rest of the story you're gonna have to get from the news people. I brought that up in 2013 to let you know the heart and the minds of the offspring seed. Wicked as hell. They still got laws on the books. They still got the slave code for you Hebrew people. But you love America. Because they gave you the piece of the pie. They let you have whorehouses. They do the same thing they used to do to your people. I see that. I know people in Washington, D.C., in Maryland. Grew up with them in the same neighborhood. Got whorehouses where the women go there and shake their butts on a pole, whatever, and our Hebrew men go there and give them money and pimp these whores. These are the facts, brothers and sisters. And it's going on all around America. That's all I have to say, brothers and sisters. That's all I have to say at this time.